Hi Flosstube, it's me, it's Nikki Noodle, back with another Flosstube video, the second or third perhaps for 2023. Today is New Year's Eve, so it's the 31st of December, and I'm here to show you my favourite finishes through the year, and also to do a quick WIP parade, although I don't know if it's going to be that quick. I've got a few. I hope you're all going really well. It has been a while. I hope you're all still sitting on your chairs and not on the floor after seeing me appear. I've had lots of lovely encouragement to come back and film a video, so here I am. A big shout out and a special thank you to Jean, Miss Linen, for your ongoing, i.e. nagging, messages to get me to film another Flosstube. So here I am. Thank you, Jean. It's been really lovely to know that I've been missed, and that you've missed seeing what I've been stitching. So here I am. Okay, so let's get through this pile of stuff I've got in front of me. I'm a bit rusty, so I apologise in advance, but we'll see how we go. Righty-o, the first one I've got to show you, you've seen it before in probably my last or second last Flosstube was Ragamuffin 2 from Shakespeare's Peddler. This was a WIP, an old WIP, obviously they're all old WIPs, but this year I kept, my focus really was on getting through some of my older WIPs. So I think I've done a reasonable job. I've finished 22 or 23 things this year. Some of them were gifts, some of them were not. So anyway, that's that. So Ragamuffin 2 by Shakespeare's Peddler. I stitched this one on a 40 count platinum linen using the called for silks, except I swapped out the white because it wasn't showing up. I don't know whether you can see it very well. You can see it in real life. So that's the white. It's full of mistakes, but I've fudged it. And I love it. I love it. So all of the alphabets, and yeah, it's pretty. It's really pretty. Love it. So that's that one. Next one is a hello from Liz Matthews, My Home in the Garden. Can't see myself. This one is stitched on a 40 count antique white linen using an overdyed cotton conversion that I did based on the cover image and the DMC list, and I really love it. This was a birthday start, my birthday start last year, I think it was, with Betsy Klager and Melly Stitches, Melanie, and I love it. That border was so fun to stitch, and I think it looks great. So that's that one. Pretty. Now everything I stitch is full of mistakes because I can't count. So, you know, you got to fudge, and I do fudge a lot. It's a rare piece when I haven't made a mistake. Next one is Agnes Lyle from Whilst Iris Naps, the lovely Christina. This is a wee Scottish sampler, and I love it. Again, the colours, so many beautiful pinks and reds and greens and all the glorious things. Some oval one for the letters, I think they are. Yep, some oval one and a really cute white house. So did I say that's a 40 count flax? A bog standard 40 count flax from Zweigart. So love that one. I finished that one in March this year. This one is another beauty, another little Scottish sampler. This one is called the Scottish Sampler, I think. Scottish Sampler from the Scarlet Letter. I picked this chart up at the freebie table at a retreat that I went to last year, and I fell in love with it, the crowns. And I stitched this one in the called for DMC except for the blue. I switched out the blue because it wasn't showing up very well on my linen, which is a 40 count weathered by number 12 Stitch Co. And I love it. The border is so sweet. I hope I'm not shaking that too much for you, making you sick. So that's that sweet little one. Cute. Hallelujah. Another reason not to fall off your chair is I finished this one, a blackbird piece called Strawberry Fields Forever. Yep, I finished this one in April. It's only weeny, but it took me so long because of all the doodads. So that's that one. Stitched with the called for over-dyed cottons on a 40 count R&R weathered shingle, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. Got it written down. If you really want to know, just message me and I'll let you know. So that's that one. It is very sweet. It's only little, smaller than my hand, but I'd like to frame that in a little red frame one day. So that's that cutie. Okay, next one is another piece that I had started and it was just labouring in my WIP pile, and then I saw, I think it was Olivia B and maybe Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, maybe? Sorry if I've gotten that wrong. Stitching on this one. And this is a Plum Street sampler and it's called Friends of the Heart. And this was so fun to stitch. And I stitched it using all of the called for over-dyed cottons, and it's on a 40 count Picture This Plus Legacy linen. And it's very pretty. The little fox is super cute. Super cute. The pumpkins. And that's that one. Lovely. Next one, I put this one on Instagram when I finished it. This one is called Among the Roses. And this is probably the only one I'm showing you now that's fully finished. All the rest are just shoved in a drawer. But I love this one so much, and it fitted perfectly in this vintage Rimu. The timber is named Rimu, and it's a New Zealand timber. I just bought the frame with an old cross-stitch piece in the middle, and I just took it apart and put this one in there, and I think it looks great. So Among the Roses by Mojo Stitches, who is a lovely Australian reproductionist and designer. Hi Joe. And I stitched this one using the DMC list, and I just think it's so beautiful. I stitched it on a 36 count French pear from number 12 Stitch Co, which is a beautiful green, just a really beautiful sagey green. Very pretty. So that's that one. I also finished this little guy, which is the denim band sampler from iStitch Designs. I haven't actually completely fully finished this one. It's close enough. So that's the very top. And that's it. I stitched it using, I think it was DMC number 934, which is a beautiful denim blue. And it's a 27 count band, linen band. And this was a lot of fun. I stitched this one, well, I started this one with Kathy Tas-Purdon from Tasmania. I don't think Kathy's very far along. Are you, Kathy? I think she might be on week 7. There's 31 weeks to it. But that's okay. Life happens. Squirrels happen. So that's that one. I love doing that one. I'd love to do another one of those one day. My biggest finish of the year was this stunning one, and again I've shown this on Instagram and I've received lots of love and congratulations for doing this one, because this was a big achievement. This is a peacock, a unicorn and a badger from the Scarlet Letter, I think. Yes, I think it is. So that's that big one. Again, full of mistakes. I stitched the water in the bottom of the piece in the wrong colour, but I think it looks okay. It was supposed to be satin stitch, but I chose to do cross stitch, because although I think satin stitch looks beautiful, I'm not very good at it. But yeah, I loved this one. This was just such a joy to stitch. I think I calculated there's something like 148,000 cross stitches in this one, so it's big, but totally worth it. And I've seen lots of people, including Jodie from Trixie Tricycle. She's stitching it on one of her beautiful Cedar River Linen and Designs arboreal linen, so it's that beautiful green. So she doesn't have to stitch the green as the background. But I actually really loved doing the background. It was just so meditative, you know, just going through and stitching. You didn't have to count, you were just filling in, and I just loved doing that. So this is it all done. It's very rude. It's got lots of bits in it. Those bits, those bits. It's got some boobs and some bums in it. Yes, love it. Love it! A lot of fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. For now, it's living in a drawer with most of the others. I might get it framed one day, but I don't know. We don't have any wall space to hang things because we've got windows everywhere. And you've probably noticed that my hair hasn't improved since I last filmed. I still feel like a Bichon Frise or some little poodly dog that has fluffy hair, but you know, whatever. Next finish for the year was this one. This is Caroline Rose Pink from Samplers Forever, an Etsy store. I found this one and I love those big birds. I stitched this one. I started this one for Kathy Purden's birthday last year. She was doing the parrot cell or snooty parrot cell or something, and I chose to do this one instead of the Barbara Anna snooty parrots because I like these birds and I love these colours. So I did that one, and I finished this one just not too long ago. So, and I love all the muted colours in this one. The salmon pinks and the tans and the blues. And the Adam and Eve, or Adam and Steve, I like to refer to these two as. And that's those. So yes, Samplers Forever on Etsy. I stitched that one on a 40 count spun sugar from Jay's X Stitch, also on Etsy. Jay is a lovely Australian dyer and she uses food grade dyes, so there's no harmful things in her dyes. And I forgot to tell you, my peacock, unicorn and a badger was just stitched on a 40 count mystery linen. I don't know what colour, might be a mocha or something. Oh, there's my cat. That was from a another piece I started on that bit of linen. Ignore him. Using all the cord 4 DMCs. I did not stitch in the cord 4 silks because that would have just been expensive. Another lovely finish, and this was the last one I'll show you for finishes. I only finished this one in early December, finally, is Kathy Barrick's Riley Harbour, and I just love doing this one. I actually managed to get this pattern into Pattern Keeper, and I find if I get it into Pattern Keeper, it's just such a breeze to stitch. And I love seeing the progress that I make every day on number of stitches stitched and how much I've got left to go. I find it really motivating. So I stitched this one using most of the cord 4 DMCs. I did substitute out the colour for the sails because I couldn't see the colour that was called for in the sail, so I switched it out. I think this is 3365. That's sort of like a dusty white, something like that, I guess you'd call it. And I stitched the whale in Weeks galvanised just to give him some movement and texture. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at that whale. And the little octopus and the fish and the lobster and the crab. That's that one. So he was a lot of fun. I stitched that one on a 40 count bush tee from Jay's X Stitch from Etsy. So that is really lovely. Love it. All right, so they are my favourite finishes for this year. So we will now move on to the next segment of the program, which is my WIPs. So you will see in here some familiar WIPs that I still have not finished. Some of them I'm quite close to a finish, but I just cannot get myself over the line. Maybe next year. A couple I'm going to ditch. I'll show you when I get to them which ones I'm going to ditch and why. Most of them are big uns. I tend to like big uns. Yeah, so I'll go through my WIPs and I'll start at my oldest WIP. So you won't be surprised to see this old one, Anne Morrison, bloody Anne Morrison. I cannot finish this one. I do about 5 stitches and think, oh, I've had enough. And I really think there's a few reasons why I've struggled so much with this one. This was originally a stitch along with traditional stitches in Canada. Like a number of years ago. I started this one at the end of 2020. So it's 3 years old, and it was a stitch along, and it was based on, the chart was broken down into I think 12 portions, and it's starting at the top. There's my first problem, is because I don't normally start at the top. I start at the bottom. So I find it very khaki-handed to start at the top. I generally tend to start at the bottom so I can move up, and that just suits the way that I stitch. But because this one started at the top, I wasn't comfortable, and like I said earlier, I can't count. So there are errors. And so that has meant that as I've gotten down towards the bottom, I've missed a stitch, and now my eyelet love heart won't fit. So now I've got to fudge it. So that's really disappointing. The other reason that I don't love this one is that it's on a 45 count legacy linen called Jersey Cream. It's a beautiful colour, I just love it, but the weave is just too tight and I can't see the holes clearly enough. When I use a magnifier, I get a headache. Oh, all the woes. All the woes, oh my God. Anyway, the moral of the story is I haven't finished it. So close. I've got this row of eyelet letters to do, this love heart and a couple of other bits and pieces here, and it's done. So close. I really wanted to finish it this year, but I haven't. Oh well. Isn't she pretty? I've actually considered restitching this one on a 40 count, just as Weikart linen, which I might do, and I might not use the silk side. That's the other reason I haven't enjoyed this one. I'm using the Verswa 103s, the spool silk, and I don't like it. So there's multiple reasons I haven't enjoyed this one, which is disappointing, but yeah, whatever, it is what it is. The next one is another very old WIP. I started this one also in 2020. So I've got 2 WIPs. These are my oldest WIPs that I started in 2020. And this one, where are my charts? Comes out of this book, this beautiful Blackbird book. And it's called Christmas Garden. So it's this one. And I started this one, as I just said, in 2020. And I originally was going to cut off the Christmas Garden, the words, and just make it short. But I I've ummed and ahed, and I think it sort of looks a little bit unbalanced cutting those off. So I've decided to stitch the words here. So that's what I'm going to do. So I had originally started to shorten it and put the border in, but then I've unpicked it. And I've been working on this one the last couple of days, you wouldn't know it. But that's where it's now up to. This is on another 45 count legacy linen. I can't remember the name of this one. It's not woven sedge. I can't remember. Again, I can look it up if anyone wants to know. But so the last few days, and again, stupidly, I don't know why, I started at the top, and I don't like starting at the top. So I'm slowly, and this is what I've been doing the last few days, is coming across the bottom. And so once I do the bottom, then I'll work my way up, and that will make it much more comfortable for me to stitch. I'm stitching this one on the legacy linen, and I'm using all of the called for overdyed cottons. And I think there's 4 colours. Fool's Gold, Calico Kitty, and a couple of others. Palomino, I don't know. But I love it. And I've seen my lovely friend June, Martha May Stitches, on Instagram. She's been working on that one as well, and hers is gorgeous. So it's very inspiring to see someone else working on it. Makes me want to pull mine out. The next one I'm going to show you is a piece that I had actually UFO'd. So a UFO unfinished object. One that I sort of thought, no, I'm not liking this one. I'm going to just ditch it. So I ditched it, but I didn't throw it out, of course, because I'm too tight, too stingy, and I can't throw anything out. Cross stitch related, rubbish, yeah, but cross stitch related, no. So I kept it, and then I sort of, there was something in my brain that sort of kept reminding me about this piece. So I pulled it out, and I just decided I do love it. I love the colours. So it is this one, which is called Always Flowers Sampler, and it's by Stitches Through the Years on Etsy. So it's this sweet one. And my hubby actually gave me this one for Christmas a couple of years ago. When did I start this one? I started this at the very beginning of 2021. So he gave it to me for Christmas 2020. And he kitted it up. He bought all of the, well, I bought all of the called for things and said, here you go, Donnie, I'll have this for Christmas, please. So that's that one. And I hadn't gotten very far. It's stitched on a 36 count mystery linen. I can't remember what this one was called, or maybe I never knew what it was called. And that's where it's up to. So it's got loose threads hanging, of course. And that's it. So it's really pretty. It's just these beautiful pinky purples and purpley blues, and yeah, it's just really sweet. And I actually thought this one might be a really nice project bag. It's a really good size for a project bag if I don't want to frame it, or yeah, can't frame it for whatever reason. So that's that one. The next one is a big one, and although I love the chart, I don't love the linen I've chosen. So this is one I think I might ditch and restart. You might gasp when you see which one it is, but it's this one, Sampler from Saxony. I don't like how the stitching is showing up on this linen. I think it might be a cafe au lait or a mocha, or I don't know which. It's a standard Zweigart linen, 40 count, but I just don't love it. And I have recently seen someone stitching on this, and they're using a much lighter linen, and I actually much prefer it on lighter linen. So I think this one might be a ditch. There's a lot of stitching done on that, but it still has a long way to go. This is, so, you know, that's the full width of the fabric here. I don't need all of it, but I need most of it. I'll show you the chart. It's a GGR chart. It's called Sampler from Saxony, or ATS 1871. So that's it. It's beautiful. So I think I've stitched, well, parts of the bands down here, this strip here, and some of this one. So I've got all that to go. This here is just taken from these sections here. It's just this part here. So I think I'd be much happier if I did it on a lighter linen. You've got to be happy with what you stitch, haven't you? I think so. Anyway, so that might be that is a ditch. I'll do something with that. I don't know what. I'll chop the linen off and I'll use the linen for something else. The next one is also a WIP that I had UFO'd because I didn't think I liked the look of the linen. So maybe I won't, this is the way my crazy brain works. Maybe I won't cut that one off yet. I might just leave it and I might come back to it. Sorry, guys. So this little one, it's only little, Harrietta & Co. by With Thy Needle and Thread. The cutest little bunny. I started this in early 2021 on a piece of, this is the old summer car key. Oh, I did iron it this morning. You wouldn't know it, would you? And I didn't like it, but I've sort of pulled it back out again and thought, yep, that'll do. That's pretty. It's only little, doesn't matter. So I'll stitch on this one this year. So that's that one. Next one is another GGR chart. Have I got the chart? Yep. And this one I started in 2021 with Ellen, oh God, I forgot the name again. With my needle. Ellen Chester. Ellen. What is it about your name? It won't stick in my head. I'm so sorry. So I started this with Ellen back in 2021 and it's beautiful. GGR just does the best reproductions. I just love everything that GGR does. So this one, this is where I'm up to. I worked quite a bit on this through the year. There's a lot of stitching in this and there's a lot of over one. And I decided to do this on a 40 count. Iced chocolate from Jay's X Stitch. The over one slows me down, but it's very, very pretty. So this little butterfly here, I've outlined him, he's all in over one. This little butterfly is in over one, that little bird, that little man. These little dogs down here all over one. Obviously the name is over one. This little lady, there's tons of over one. And I do use a magnifier most of the time for over one on 40 count. But like I said earlier, it gives me a headache, so I can only do it every now and again. So that's Ellen Norris. So I'm chipping away at her very slowly, but I'm chipping away. I'm gonna have the biggest mess here. But anyway, that's okay. Next one is Little Birds by Blackbird Design. Is it? Blackbird Designs. I started this one for Betsy's 60th birthday in 2021. We use the hashtag #BetsyIsOld for this one. So, and again, this is one that I have actually chipped away on this year. I've got the borders all done. It's a beast, it's big. I'm stitching this one on a 40 count salted caramel, I believe it is. Salted caramel from number 12 Stitch Co on Etsy. Using all of the called for over dyed threads. And it is really beautiful. I'll show you closer up. Look at the border. And the houses, and the baskets of fruit and berries and flowers. All the way across here. So that's that one. So I do pull that one out every now and again and have a little stitch on it. Excuse me a moment. Too much talking, unlike me. Next one is Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. Don't mind my writing across the bottom. This is just a printout from Etsy. I bought this off Stacey Nash's Etsy site. It's just a colour printout, so I'm not too worried about scribbling on it. These scribbles represent all of the border segments. I think there are 30 berry and leaf border sections, and I found them quite tedious, so I've been crossing them off as I go. So that's that one. And Lauren, who is the New Hampshire stitcher, has recently shown she's been working on this, so I pulled it out and put in a few more of those border sections, and it just looks so spectacular. I worked on this just before Christmas a little bit. This is being stitched on a piece of 40 count spice from Number 12 Stitch Co. using my own conversion. So I'm using a number of Leo and Roxy Floss Co. Flossers, and just some other overdyed cottons that I've pulled out of my stash. That isn't showing up very well on the camera, but in real life it actually shows up really well, the white house. You can see I haven't finished stitching that one. But the red is Roxy Floss Co. called Lucille, which I think is my favourite red from them. And the green is a sage, or dark sage, from Roxy Floss Co., which I just love. I think it looks really Christmassy, those colours. So this is almost at the top. So isn't it pretty? Just love it. Now the next one is another one that I think I'm going to ditch. And I haven't got a picture of the chart because I bought this one from Hands Across the Sea's online shop. I might stick a photo. I'll put a picture of it here. Most of you will be familiar with it. It's not a new chart. And this is where I've gotten to on it. So I've done a bit, but I'm not even all the way across yet. And it's just too big. And that's on 40 count. So I don't like the way the stitches look. I'm using DMC 347 for this one. So I'm thinking I might ditch this. This is a piece of 40 count spun sugar from Jay's X Stitch. So it's a beautiful light sampler linen, or you can use it for anything obviously. But I'm just not loving it on this linen. If I was going to stitch this one again, which I may do, I'd use at least a 46 count. Zweigart 46, because I like stitching on Zweigart 46 count. Not Legacy, but 46 Zweigart I do. Just to make it a little bit smaller. Or I would even contemplate doing it 1/1 on like a 25 count linen, something like that. Just to get it smaller and the stitches more dense. So that's a ditch. Where I'm comfortable with my decision. I've been thinking about those two for a while. Next one is another Hands Across the Sea sampler. This one I was going to ditch, but I've decided not to ditch it. I'm just going to change some of the colours that I'm not happy with. I've got a black and white copy, but I'll put a colour picture here. This is called The Rose and the Giant Pear, I think. Look at the chart. The Rose and the Giant Pear, 1888. So that's a black and white copy of the picture. Lots of people have stitched this one. Nettie, my friend Nettie, who is Nettie56 on Instagram, and Gwyneth, curling stones and cross stitches, X stitches on Instagram. She has stitched this as well. So I'm doing this one on a 46 count dyed by me fabric. I just dunked it in a combination of rip dyes. and I love it, except the little ducky that's in this is not showing up. So I'm going to have to play with some colours and find one that shows up better. So that's that one. It's only weeny, so tiny. But that house was a lot of fun. I love the purples in it. It's got, the roof is in a purple. So beautiful. So yeah, get that one back out. What have we got? We've got, so I started that one at the beginning of 2022. So now we're into the 2022 WIPs, which I've only got 7, so not very many. The next one is one of the 2 full coverage pieces I've got on the go. And this is called Child with Cat. And it's the artwork of Renoir. And I just think it's so cute. So I pull this one out every now and again. I'm not a very good full coverage stitcher where there's lots of confetti. I do get a bit overwhelmed by it all, but this is where she's up to. You can start to see her face emerging, and you can see the body of the cat and the cat's head. So this is a pattern by Cross Stitch Collectibles, and I'm stitching this one on a 20 count Ada, an easy grid Ada. It's actually really quite fun. But yes, got a lot to go. I think I'm about 20% in, 24%, something like that. It's very, showing the right side, yeah. There's the kitty cat's head, its body and her hand. So, and this is what I'm using Pattern Keeper for, which makes life so much easier than using a paper chart. I'm just stitching it in the call for DMCs, and I think there's 99 colours or something in that one, so there's a few. Yeah. Next one is a start that I had when I had COVID last year. So this is Jane Fiddes, who I bought this one when I was in Hobart from a Stitch in Time. Hands Across the Sea, I think it's a Scottish sampler. I have a thing for Scottish samplers. I just love the colours. Those deep reds and greens and whites. So that's Jane. And I'm stitching this one on a 40 count light nougat from XJU Designs. So that's Jane. And I haven't picked this one up, I don't think at all this year. Or maybe a little bit. I think I did some of the stuff up the top here. Starting to get the scaffolding and the lines across the piece. So, but that's a very pretty one. I love the kitty cat. This one has got turkey work, what's called turkey work, underneath the house. So I won't do that until the end, but it's like a tufted stitch. So it's got a lot of texture to it. I've never done it before, but I'll give it a go. Next one, another Blackbird Designs chart called Winter is Past. I love this one because of the blues and the greens, the really beautiful muted blues. Really, really beautiful. And I bought this one as a full kit from Nicola at Number 12 Stitch Co. I bought it at the Daisy Chain Cross Stitch Retreat in 2022. So it came fully kitted, it's got the linen, it's a 40 count of some, it's an unnamed linen, and just the overdyed threads with some substitutes for the threads, but it's beautiful. So this is the top of the inside section, and it's just got the border around it to go, which are all those pretty leaves and flowers. So that's that one. Am I showing you right? Yep. That's that one. So beautiful. How many times have I said that? Next one was a chart that one of my lovely viewers sent to me, Sue. Thank you so much, Sue. This is Scattered Seed Samplers Gathering Together Pin Keep. And I love this since I saw it. It's just this beautiful bird. So I started this in 2022 on a piece of 36 count vintage country mocha. Which is not my favourite linen, but you know, I think it's okay, and that's where I'm up to. I'm just filling in the, I think this is DMC 610 for the body. So filling that in, and then I've got a few leaves to go. I've been working on this one quite a bit, just in the lead up to Christmas, and this has been my travel stitching. I take this in the car and, oh, my hubby drives, and stitch on that. So that's that one. And hopefully I'll get that one finished not too far down the track, because it's not very big. Next one is this beautiful piece from my darling friend Ellen, who is here on Instagram, and Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour is her YouTube channel. So Ellen and her Maximum Cross Stitch design company. So this was Ellen's very first release. So I quickly jumped online and ordered it as soon as I saw it. And this is so precious because Ellen signed it for me, and she's written, "To Nikki, you are my most beautiful koala." No, Ellen. So this one I'm stitching on a piece of toasted mallow, 40 count toasted mallow from number 12 Stitch Co, using all of the called for Roxy Floss Co threads, and I just love it. So I've got this one in Pattern Keeper. Ellen gave me, sent to me the Pattern Keeper friendly version of the chart. Thank you, Ellen. So now I've got that in there, and it just speeds along. So I'll chip away at that one as well. So, oh, the Roxy Floss Co threads are just heavenly. I just love using them. They're just so beautiful. Righto. Next one. Oh, did I tell you what that one's called? There is always room. Sorry. Next one is the last one that I've got on the go still from 2022. And it's another GGR. But this is the letter N. So it's just got all lots of monograms of N, my initial. Duh. Anyway, so this is another piece of linen, 40 count, that I dyed myself, and I'm using DMC 3. Gosh, can I remember what colour I'm using? 3. No, I can't remember. 3740. It's a purple, a grapey, aubergine purple. So that's that one. And I bring this one out every now and again and just do one motif at a time, or a part. This is the beginning of a cherub just here. And some I haven't finished, motifs I haven't finished, but yeah, this is really good fun. It's quite big. So that's on 40 count. The next one is another UFO, another little start that I made, and I decided, nah, I don't like this, I'm going to put it away. And then again, there's been a little worm in my head that I haven't been able to get it out, so I've pulled it out again. So this was just an old kit that it had a piece of, it was like a Lugana in the kit, and it was all like where the needle was in the Lugana, it had gone rusty, so I chucked that and I replaced it with a piece of ice blue linen. I think this is a 40 count. But look, it was meant to be, it's meant to have a rust mark on it. I had my needle in there, my needle's rusted. So I've been working on this one quite a bit. You wouldn't know it, quite a bit, but that bottom section is quite full coverage, but it's really cute. So, and that dark section here is the bottom of the ship, boat, whatever you call it. So that's that one. And I'm just using all of the threads that were in the kit, which I believe are DMC. So it's not Dutch, it's a Danish kit company called Olenschlager. Olenschlager. I need another slurp of water. Okay, so then we come to 2023. As I said earlier, I've only had about 6 or 7 or 8 starts in 2023, and most of them have been for various gift exchanges or birthdays or things I've stitched for friends. So most of them are not here, so I've only got a few left of my 2023 starts. The first one I'll show you is one that I just couldn't resist it. I saw Debbie from Creatively Yours and Jontina from Jontina Stitches. They're both Dutchies, they're both from the Netherlands. And they were stitching on this heaven and earth design, like hello, no, but yes, I ended up buying it, and I'll put a picture of it here. It's called Butterfly Port Mauve. I can't remember who the artist is, but it's been chartered by Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is where I'm up to. So it's called an ornament. It's still quite big, and that's where I'm up to. So I haven't started the butterfly on it yet. That's it. You can see a crown at the bottom there. So I started that in May. So I did pretty well. I didn't have any new starts in 2023 until May. So, which is just miraculous for me. So that's that one. And this one is getting stitched on a 25 count Easy Grid Lugana. It's really good to stitch on. I like it. So that's that one. The next one I blame on Sherry, the Colorado cross stitcher. She has been working on this one for a little while, and when I saw it, again, I couldn't get it out of my head. So I actually had a trip to Sydney. When did I start this one? In May, I think it was. And I got to visit the Cruel Goblin, and I was there for about 5 minutes. I had my 15-year-old son with me, he was not thrilled to be there. So it was a speedy trip. Julie T was there, so thank you, Julie, for helping me do a whirlwind kitting up exercise for this one. And this is a reflet de soie, or as Jodie Trixie Tricycle calls them, reflet de confetti, because there's so many colour changes, and this one is no exception. So I just think that is the prettiest, most delicate, beautiful sampler. I just think it is so beautiful. So thank you for sharing this one, Sherry. I love it so much. So, and I treated myself, I kitted it up using all of the called for silks. It's the Soie d'Alger silk, and I just love using them. And this is where I'm up to. So it is just, is that fluff? Yep, fluff. So pretty. So pretty. And I'm stitching this one on 37 count legacy linen in corn tassel. So this is one of those projects where my crazy brain says I don't want to stitch on it too much because I don't want it to end. which is just totally bonkers, but that's the way my crazy brain works. Right, I need for you to go, guys. We're 50 minutes in. So the next one is, I think it's another GG. Yep. And this one is, I'm sorry if you're French. I believe this one is French. I can't pronounce the lady's name or the little girl's name. Elodie Jallet. I'll show you when I get it out of the bag. And my note just says send to B when done. So that's Betsy. Betsy, you're getting this one when I'm done. Elodie Jallet from GGR. And again, I think it's just so pretty. And another one that I just really enjoy stitching on. And you'll see on this linen, I've actually started 2 other pieces on this, but I've ditched both of those because I wasn't happy. But then this is what I'm putting Elodie on. So let me see. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? Ooh, sorry guys. I'll try that. Is that better? That's a little bit better. So beautiful colours. And that's the full width. So I could go ahead and cut the linen off now. So very pretty. That's a 40 count. It might be mushroom. I'm not sure. It's a little bit darker than is my usual preference, but that one I think will go okay on that because the colours are quite dark as well, so it can carry it. Okay, the next one is a La-Di-Da sampler. I've got notes everywhere. And this one says send to G when done. So Gwyneth, you're getting this one when I'm done. So a Happy Life sampler by La-Di-Da. I've loved this from the moment I saw it. So I started this one this year. And I'm using all of the called for colours, which are primarily DMCs, but it's got 2 weeks dye works in it. So this one is quite close to being done. So that is being stitched on. I can tell you it's got the tag on it. Yeah, it's a 40 count toasted mallow from number 12 Stitch Co. So that's that little one. And it is really beautiful. So pretty. There's actually a ton of stitching in this. So I've put my initials here, NLO. These little motifs are pretty, the little birdie. There's actually a lot of counting in this one, which is dangerous given I can't count. You can see I'm close to joining up the border. And that's that one. That will definitely, famous last words, be a finish next year. So that's that one. Now the next one is another one that I've loved ever since I saw it, and I think I initially saw it on Ellen's Flosstube Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, and it's called When the Calling Birds Sing, from Exemplars from the Heart. And this is one that I purchased from Victorian Rose Needle Arts, who I believe is in Florida in the US, and I really love it. And I think Olivia B is now stocking these also on her Etsy store, which is called Hillside Bookery. So that's that one. The only problem that I had with this was, you can't really see it on here. Can I show you a piece of the chart? I haven't got the chart in, have I? I wasn't terribly happy with the border motif. Now I'm just going to show you very quickly, quite close. That's the border motif, which I think looks like meat and potatoes, if you get my drift. I don't want a sampler with meat and potatoes on it. So what I have done is I started it, but I've changed the motif to a flower. So I'll repeat this flower all the way around, and I'm much happier with that. So I just got the flower motif from the Brenda Keys book, which I've got on my shelf up there. So I just found a motif that has the same dimensions as the little boxes, and that's that. So now that I've worked that out, I'll get stuck into this one. And this one is getting stitched on a piece of 40 count spice from number 12 Stitch Co. So I haven't done very much, but hopefully next year, I will make a good start on that one. And I'll just stitch that in the called for DMCs. 2 to go, guys, I think. 3 to go. The next one, oh, have I got the chart? Yep, there's the chart. The next one was a bit of a, I don't know whether it was the right thing to do. We lost one of our lovely dogs in June this year. She, we had to have her put to sleep, which was awfully sad. I'll put a picture of Bonnie here. This is Bonnie. She was a Springer Spaniel. She's only 9 years old, which is not terribly old for a Springer. But she got very sick and we had to say goodbye. So our hearts were broken. And I sort of thought at the time it would be really nice to commemorate her with an appropriate cross stitch piece. So I had this in my stash and it's called Pet All the Dogs, and I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I started it on a piece of 40 count mallow. It's Weigarten mallow. But I can't stitch on it because it makes me so sad. So I don't know if I've done the right thing starting that one. I might just see how things go, and I won't UFO it or anything. I'll just keep it in my stash, but I'm not sure when I'll get around to stitching on this one. I do love it. That red house is just so beautiful. And all the doggies, they look just like Bonnie. I'll put some white spots on them to make them look like Bonnie. So that's that. Now, although our hearts were broken, some of the hole in our heart has been somewhat filled by our new addition to the family, and her name is Poppy. She's a lolly, which is a border collie, a collie crossed with a Labrador. So her dad's a lab and her mum's a border collie. And she moved in with us in July, and she is just a joy. So I'll put a picture of Poppy here. She is an extrovert. She's boisterous. She's just a big puppy. She is a puppy. She's only 7 months old. And she's a delight, and we just adore her. She's a lot of work because she's so full of energy. I mean, that's, I guess, the border collie coming out. But she's so delightful. She loves everybody. She just loves people. She loves the cats. The cats do not like Poppy because Poppy just wants to chase them, and the cats don't like being chased. But anyway, so that's Poppy. Poppy. She's lovely when she's sleeping. Right, 2 to go. The next one is a design from the Blue Flower. Am I going to be able to? I'll take it out of the plastic. This is going to be a noisy one, I think. The Blue Flower, it's called Moggy Manor. I bought this one as soon as it was released. As soon as I saw it, I thought, yep, I've got to stitch that one. So Moggy Manor, the cats, the birds, the fish, everything about it. And I'll tell you who else is stitching this one now is Kerry from Roxy Floss. Roxy Floss Co. She's stitching this one because she's got a couple of beautiful big cats. So she started this one. I only started this one not that long ago, and I'm stitching it on a new linen dyer Whoopsie Daisy Designs on a piece of her linen, 40 count in oyster. And isn't that a beautiful colour? It's a real purpley grey and it's just beautiful. And so here's my measly start. So there's the first moggy. Just there. So very, very sweet. And I'm looking forward to getting some more stitches on that one. And then the lucky last thing that I have started, I need a drink because I can barely talk, is another Kathy Barrick chart, which I just love. Kathy Barrick fan club, key member right here, is AH to EE. This beautiful Quaker design. I've had this one kitted up in my stash for a long while. And then on Christmas Day, I thought to myself, I need a new start. I don't really need a new start, but I had a new start. And so I started it on this piece of 36 count weathered from number 12 Stitch Co. And I'm using a Gloriana silk in Midnight. I'm not sure you can see the colours of that. It's a really beautiful variegated blue. It's like, you can't, it's not picking it up at all, but it's just got the most beautiful variegation in it. And I just love it. And again, I've got this chart into Pattern Keeper and I'm about 30% done. So that's that one. Beautiful. All right. So they're my favourite finishes and my WIPs. Right. I am going to share one more thing with you guys, and that is one of the plans that I have for 2024. Now, I have a milestone birthday in 2024. I'm the big 50 next year. And so I was chatting with a friend of mine, Deb from Knit a Stitch on Instagram, and she was wondering, you know, what was I doing and for my birthday. And I said, I'm thinking about starting another massive GGR chart called MT1810. And it was a chart that I seen on Trixie Tricycle's Flosstube video, and I just fell in love the moment Trixie or Jodie showed her start on this. And I don't do this very much, but I paused the video and I tracked down the chart, and the Cruel Goblin had it, and I bought it on the spot. So I said to Deb, I think I might make this, you know, my the sample that commemorates me turning 50 this year, next year. So Deb said, I'm in, I love it too. So Deb has also bought it. It's this behemoth. It is massive. It is 518 wide by 396 high. So it's huge. But I just love it. I adore it. So that is what Deb and I are starting. We have intentions of starting it on New Year's Day. I still have not decided. I've not settled on the linen I'm going to use. I've currently got it kitted up on a piece of 40 count platinum, but Deb is using 40 count toasted mallow from number 12 Stitch Co. And it looks divine, so I think I might have to go shopping. So, but if anybody is interested in joining along, I'll create a hashtag and I'll call it, same as we did for Betsy when Betsy turned 60, we had a hashtag called Betsy is old, Sal. We might do Nikki is old, Sal. So that way, if you join along, we can see your progress. Now I know that, you know, this is a big sampler, so not everybody wants to do something so huge. So how about if anybody would like to stitch along on any GGR chart? So, and let's say it doesn't have to be a new start, it can be one that you've got on the go. If it motivates you to get your GGR chart out and you working on it, then by all means, please join along and use the Nikki is old Sal hashtag. All right, that's me done. Can I just wish everybody a very happy new year. I hope 2024 is a better year for everybody than I think most people have found 2023. 2023 has been a really tough year for many. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say than that. It's been a rough year. But yeah, I hope everyone finds 2024 to be much better. Enjoy your stitching. Do what you love. And I will see you soon, I hope. I hope to film more often. We'll see. Okay, bye everybody.